In the name of Allah, most beneficent, most merciful. All praise is due to Allah. We praise Him, we seek His aid, and we ask for His forgiveness. Dear students, male and female, I would like to welcome you in this lecture, and we will continue what we had taken in the previous lesson. It was about place of articulation. We spoke about bilabials, labiodentals, dentals, alveolars, palatals, velars, and glottals. Let us take a quick revision about what we had taken before. The place of articulation, we started with bilabials. And we said that these sounds, or these are sounds formed use both upper and lower lips. The first sounds in the words like, for example, pa, as in pat, or ba, as in bat, and n, as in mat. And we say that these are sounds, not letters. If these are letters, it could be totally different. The pronunciation will be different. It will be here as pa, and here as ba. And this will be pronounced as M. But we said from the beginning that we are dealing with sounds. So this is P, P, and this is B, B. And the third one is N, N. Now all these sounds are called as bilabial. Why? Because the two articulators which are responsible to produce these sounds are the two lips, the upper lip and the lower lip. And we say that the upper lip is a passive articulator and the lower lip is the active. Why it is called as an active? Because the part which moves to produce the sound, which is responsible to produce the sound, is these two lips. This is the active and this is the this is the passive, and the lower is the active. And then we move to labiodentals. These sounds are formed with the upper teeth and the lower lip. The upper teeth and the lower lip. As we can see here, this is the passive, upper teeth, and the lower lip. And the first sounds in the words like f, f, you can feel it, that the upper teeth touches, the upper part touches the lower lip, as in f, f. Again, as in v, v, fat, that. We can also see that, we can also feel that the upper part, the upper teeth here, touch the lower lip. And the final sounds in the words like also safe and save. These two sounds are called as labiodental, and they are represented by the symbol here for f. This is the symbol. How do we describe the sound? The symbol for f and the symbol for v. Now one of these is called as voiceless. Of course, that is f. The f sound is voiceless. It has no vibration. That's why it is called as voiceless. But the second sound, which is represented by this shape, v, v, definitely we can feel the vibration here. That's why this sound is voiceless. Now let us take a look here for these two words, photo, cuff. These two words, the first one, cuff, ends with GH, two letters, combined letters, G and H. But the pronunciation of these two is only f, f. The second one is photo, begins with PH, and this PH also is pronounced as f, f. And of course these two sounds are voiceless. Then after that we talked about dentals. And in dentals we said that these sounds are formed with the tongue tip, the tip of the tongue, behind the upper front teeth. The tip of the tongue with the upper front teeth. This part with the upper front teeth. This part with the upper front teeth touches this part. So this part is called as dental. Now, the initial sound of this word, thin, and the final sound of bath, th. You can feel that the tip of the tongue, your tongue, touches the upper teeth. And these two sounds, as in bath and thin, these two sounds, th, or this sound, this sound is voiceless sound. It is a voiceless dental sound. And the symbol for this sound is, this is the shape of the sound here. As you can see, this is the symbol of thin, or as in bath. Now, the voiced dental is represented by this. This is the. We have th and the. As in thin is voiceless. It makes no vibration. There is no vibration at all. But this symbol, which is this symbol, the, as in the, as in there, as in then, and thus. So the sound of the, and the. These sounds are represented by this symbol that is the. Now, when we move to the next, alveolar. Now, these sounds formed with the front part of the tip, with the front part of the tongue, the front part of the tongue on the alveolar ridge. Let us see the front part of the tongue and the alveolar ridge. This is the front part of the tongue, and here this is the alveolar ridge, the area which is directly behind the upper front teeth is called as alveolar ridge. So when the front part of the tongue touches the alveolar ridge, we can hear this sound as in, for example, behind the teeth, as in t, top, or d, as in dip, sit, s, or z, as in zoo, and n, as in not. So these sounds are produced when the tongue, the front part of the tongue, touches the alveolar ridge. So these sounds are called alveolars. Why? Because they are produced with the help of the front part of the tongue and the alveolar ridge. The alveolar ridge is called as the passive articulator because it does not move, and the active articulator is the tongue, the front part of the tongue. Now, t, d, s, z, and n, these sounds are all called as alveolars. Now, the symbols of these sounds are easy to remember. Why? Because they are almost the same. Now, for t is this symbol, t. D, again, s, z, n. Just to remind you, we never say s, we never say z or n, because when I say s or z or n, it means I'm not describing the sound. I'm just giving a description for how to write letters, not sounds. So remember that this is t, d, s, z, and n. Now, of these sounds, we have t and s. When I say t, s, These two sounds are voiceless. They make no vibration. We do not feel any vibration while pronouncing these two sounds, t, s. Whereas d, z, n. Now, d and z, these two sounds make vibration, and they, for example, d is called as plosive sound. Why? Because when you pronounce the sound d, you feel that there is a plast in your mouth. D, d. That's why it is called as a plosive sound, and it is voiced sound. The second sound is z. We can feel the vibration. That's why it is a voiced sound. The last one is n. N. In fact, we have three nasal sounds. We have n, n, and ing. We have n. This is n. We have also im. And the last sound is ing. Now these three sounds are called as nasal sounds. Why? Because the nasal cavity is responsible. Here, this is the nasal cavity, where the airstream goes out of the nose. So this velium should come this side to open the nasal cavity, and the airstream goes out of the nasal cavity. That's why these two sounds are called as the n, and ing. These sounds are called as nasal. And remember, all nasal sounds are voiced. N, or ing. These three sounds are voiced. Other alveolars are the l sound, as in lap, and r as in right. These are also alveolar sounds. L and r as in lap, and r as in right. We will continue with palatals. Now these are sounds formed with the tongue and the hard palate. The initial sounds in the words, like for example, we have shot and child. Sh, ch, sh, ch. Now, these two sounds are voiceless. Now, this sound, as in sh, which can be represented by this simple sh, as in shot. Sh, as in shot. Now, the second one, as in child, is represented as in this simple, that is ch, child, child. You can feel that there is a sound t before sh. It's ch. We have sh and ch. Sh sound as in shot, shot, but ch as in child, child. So we have two sounds in palatal. We have the first one is sh, and the second one is ch. This is sh, which is a voiceless sound, and we have ch. Again, this is also a voiceless sound. Now, let us take another example. We have shoe brush. Now, shoe brush begins with sh, this sound, sh, and also ends in sh, shoe brush. So, these two sounds are voiceless sounds, as in shoe, sh, and as in brush, sh. These are voiceless sounds. Now, let us take another example, that is church, church, church. Now, church begins with ch, as you can see here, it begins with ch, and also ends with ch, begins with ch, and ends with ch, with other voiceless also palatal sound, that is ch, ch. Now this is the simple for ch, as in church, and this is the simple for sh, shot. We have ch and sh. Now we'll take some more sounds, palatal. We have here the sound j, as in pleasure, j, j, and as in also treasure, the underlined one. This letter is S. The letter here is S, but we pronounce it as j, j, j. So this is a voiced palatal, j, as in treasure and pleasure. This sound is a voiced palatal sound. The other voiced palatal is, see the difference here between these two. We have here j, and we have j. We have j, 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 j. The first one is j, j. The second one is, you can feel that there is a sound of d before j, so it becomes as j, j, as in joke, joke, and as in gym. See, we have pleasure, it's only j, but in a case of pronouncing joke, we have d, j. This is a combination of d and j. So these two sounds have only one simple, that is j for joke and also j for gym. And as I said, that this sound is a voiced palatal sound. Now the sound yeah, this is as a letter it's J. Right, this is J. But in fact, as a sound, it's not J, it's yeah. It's yeah. This is the sound. Yeah. So this is the simple of yeah, as in the voiced the palatal sound, as in yet. Yeah, yet. And also, we have another example here. We have also yes. Yes. Yes is a sound of this simple yeah, yeah. Again, this is a voiced palatal sound. And then we have velars. Velars, these are sounds produced with the back of the tongue. The back of the tongue, again, is the velium. This sound, or these sounds are called as velars. We have the back of the tongue with velium. Let us check the diagram here. Now, this is the back of the tongue. Wait, let me just erase the red color here. Here we have. Now, this is the back of the tongue, this area, with velum, this area, exactly. So, when these two are in contact, we come to have the production will be as in velar, the back of the tongue and the velium. Now, here we have the sound as in k, for cook. It begins with k and also ends with k. K is a voiceless sound. The sound also we have g, k, g. You can feel it, that the back part of your tongue touches something. That area is called as velium. So k is voiceless, and we have the sound g, g. Again, this is a plosive, stop. It is one of the stops, plosive sounds, as in go, as in go. And finally, we have the voice sound that is ing, ing. We can feel that the back part of the tongue touches the area which is called as velium, and the production, the result is ing, as in bang, bang, ng, ng. Next is glottals, and here we have only one sound which is produced with the active use of the tongue, and the passive is other parts of the mouth. Now it is a voiceless sound. This is a voiceless sound, as in house, as in home, as in her, as in horse, and so on, as in, for example, we have hammer. So all these words have only one thing in common, that they begin with the sound, and the symbol of h is this letter H, but we pronounce it as h. Then we have, we will start with the manner of articulation. The previous slides were about the place of articulation. We have bilabials, we have labiodentals, dentals, alveolars, palatals, velars, and glottals, where this is the place of articulation. Now, the second is the manner of articulation. What is the meaning of the manner? What is the meaning of manner? What exactly happens when we speak, when we produce the sounds? When we say about the place, we talk about the location. What are parts, or what parts are responsible to produce sounds? What are the articulators? What articulators are responsible to produce the sounds? But when we talk about the manner of articulation, we speak about the way of pronouncing sounds. What exactly happened with the air stream? What exactly happened with the air when it goes out of the lung and then out of the mouth? Now, we will start with the first group, the first sound, which is called as stops. We have 6 sounds here. In this group, we have 6 sounds. Now, the first sound is P. P. And if you remember, P as a sound is what? Can you remember? Yes, it's bilabial. Why bilabial? The place is bilabial. Why? Because the 2 lips are responsible to produce the sound P. So it is a bilabial sound. If I go back to the slides here, you'll find that P is a bilabial sound. That is the place of articulation. But here we have the manner. What exactly happened when we produce the letter, the sound P? Now, we have a set here. We have one set, 6 sounds. We have P, B, T, D, K, G. Again, I repeat again. We have P, B, T, D, and K, G. Again, slowly. P, P, and B, P, B. This is the first group. The second group is T, T, D, D. The third group is K, K, and D, D. Now, these sounds are called as stops, and also we can also give a name for this as explosion or explosive. Explosive. Why explosive sounds? You will understand why. Now, these sounds are all produced by some form of stopping. There is a stop of the air stream. Stopping of the air stream, very briefly. Now, then letting it go very fast. Now, this type of consonant sound resulting from a blocking or stopping effect on the air stream. That's why this group is called as stops or plosives. An example of this group, we have here, we have bed, bed. Now the first letter b is the same sound of b, and this is a stop sound. The last one, the last d as a letter is the same of the sound d. So these two are examples of the first group, that is stops or plosive sounds. The second group, which is called as fricative. Now fricative, we have another set here of sounds. We have, for example, we have we have as in thin, as in the. We have also s, z. We have sh, and finally we have j. Now these sounds are involved almost blocking the air stream and having the air push through the very narrow opening. Now, if you try to pronounce there is a blockage, but there is also a very narrow passage. Now the air goes out of this narrow passage. And when the air goes out of this narrow passage, we come to this sound. We have this sound. And here we have these two. We have sh, voiceless, and we have j, voice sound. As the air is pushed through a type of friction, there is a wrapping. When you say friction, there is a friction here, a narrow passage, but you can feel that there is a friction. And the resulting sounds are called as fricatives. As an example, now if we pronounce this fish, now fish begins with f, fricative, and also ends in sh, again fricative. These two sounds are voiceless sounds. And another example here, we have those. This is those. Th. Again, this is a voiced sound. Now, we are still in the manner of articulation. We have the third group, which is called as affricates. Now, if you combine a brief stopping of the air stream with an obstructed release which causes some friction, you will be able to produce the sounds as in ch and as in j. Ch, ch, ch. There is a stopping of the air stream, and there is also obstructed release, ch, and also j. These two sounds are called as affricates. Now we have two examples here of these sounds, these two sounds. We have ch, ch. This is the first example. We have here we have cheap. We have cheap, ch. Oops. Back. Yes. We have here cheap, ch, ch. And also we have j for jeep. J, j. You can feel the sound d before j. It's j, jeep. And for cheap, it's ch. There's a t before sh, so it becomes as ch, cheap. Next is nasals. And I said that here we have three main sounds. Now, when the volume is lowered, the airstream is allowed to flow out through the nose to produce these three sounds. We have m, m. We have n, as in n, n, n. And the last one as in ing, as I said, as in bang, bang. Now these sounds are described as nasals. Why? Because they are produced from the nasal cavity with the help of the volume, which when it is lowered and the airstream is allowed to flow out through the nose. Now we have here some examples, as in morning, as in morning, ng. We have some nasal sounds, as in m and n, morning, as and ing. One more example, as in name. It begins with a nasal sound, as in n, name, and also ends with m, m. So it has two nasal sounds. Now here we have liquids and glides. These will be the last two groups of the manner of articulation. Now in liquids, the initial sounds, as in lead and red, lead, red, l, r, l, r. Now the initial sounds in these two are described as liquids. Now they are both voiced. The l sound is called as lateral liquid. Why it is called as lateral liquid? Because the air goes out of both sides. When we say l, there is a blockage of the air, of the tongue. The tongue touches the roof of the mouth, and we can feel that the air passes out of the two sides of the tongue. Now the L sound is called as lateral liquid and formed by letting the air stream flow around the sides of the tongue as the tip of the tongue makes contact with the middle of the alveolar ridge. Now the R sound here at the beginning of the word red also is formed with the tongue tip raised and curled back near the alveolar ridge. So when you pronounce r, r, you feel that the tongue curled back exactly near the alveolar ridge. Now what you need here is to practice pronouncing the sound. Practice pronouncing the sound. The last group here is called as glides. Now in the glides here we have two sounds. The first one is w, and we have y. Now these sounds are described as glides. They are both of the sounds here, they are voiced. And they are also occurred at the beginning of these words, for example, as in we, w, and y, as in you, and y, as in yes, or as in yet, yeah. These sounds are typically produced with the tongue in motion, or we call it as gliding, to or from the position of a vowel, and are sometimes called as semi-vowels because they are almost very similar to vowels. We will come to the vowels later. Now we have here two sounds. We have w, and y. Now, this chart is very important, and it summarizes both the voicing, the place of articulation and the manner of articulation, as well as also we can also know about the voicing, whether the sound is voiced or the sound is voiceless. Now, let us take them one by one as a summary for this lecture. Now, the place of articulation, here we have bilabial, labiodental, dental, alveolar, palatal, velar, and glottal. And as manner of articulation, we have stops, we have fricatives, we have affricates, nasals, liquids, and glides. In bilabial, we have two groups. We have the first voiceless, this is a voiceless group, and here we have voiced group. Now, the sound, or these sounds, p and b, these two sounds are bilabial stop sounds. Why? Because as you see here, this is the group of the place of articulation, and here we have the manner of articulation. Now, the place is bilabial, two lips, and the manner is stops. Why? Because these sounds are produced with the help of two lips, and the airstream is blocked and then released. So, p is voiceless and b is voiced. The second place of articulation is labiodental. Now, labiodental, again, we have, for bilabial also, the voiced, we have m and w. M is a nasal sound. It is a voice sound. And w is glides. It is also called as semi-vowel, but here we just give the name of glides. And it is also a voiced sound. The second group here we have labiodental. In labiodental we have f and v. The place of articulation is called as labiodental, but the manner of articulation is called as fricative. Why it is called as a fricative? Because there is a blockage, but at the same time we have a very narrow passage, and you can feel the friction wrapping while saying f, v. F as a sound is voiceless, and v as a sound is voiced. Now here, the second or the third group is dental. And here we have two sounds. We have th and th, as in th, the. Now, th is a voiceless sound. It is a dental, fricative, voiceless sound. But the is a dental, fricative, voiced sound. This is the full description of the place and manner of articulation of the sound th and the. Th is a dental, fricative, voiceless sound, but the dental, fricative, voiced sound. The fourth group here is alveolar. In alveolar we have t, d as stops. T is voiceless, and we can give a full description. We can say that t is an alveolar stop voiceless sound, while d is also an alveolar stop voiceless voiced sound. D, an alveolar, stop, voiced sound. The second group here, we have some sounds of fricatives. We have S, S, and Z, Z, Z. Now, S is an alveolar, fricative, voiceless sound, while Z is an alveolar, fricative, but here it's a voiced sound. In alveolar, we have a nasal sound that is N, 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 and we have two sounds. We have two liquids. We have L, L, and R, R. These sounds, or these two sounds, are called as liquids, but we can give a description. They are alveolar, liquid, voiced sounds. Moving to the fifth group, we have palatal, and we have here again two. One is voiceless and the other group is voiced, while we have a fricative. The first one of the fricative is sh, as in shot, sh, and j, j. Of course, sh is voiceless and j is voiced. But the affricates here, we have again two. We have ch, 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 and we have j, j, as in jeeb, joke. These two sounds are also, we have one voiceless sound and the second one is voiced. Here we can give a description of one of these four. For example, let us say ch, palatal, affricate, voiceless sound, while j is palatal, affricate, voiced sound. And finally here we have one sound, glide sound, that is ya, ya, as in yes, yet, you. We have only one sound, that is palatal, glide, of course, voiced sound. Moving to next group, that is velar. In velar we have two stops. We have k and g, and we say that velar group or velar sound is produced with the help of the back of the tongue with contact with the velium, k, g. Of course, k is velar, stop, voiceless sound, and g is velar, stop, voice sound. And again we have a nasal sound of the same group, velar, that is eng, eng, eng. Of course, eng is a velar, nasal, voiced sound. And the last group is called as glottal. We have only one sound of the glottal, as in horse, as in home. That is only h, one sound, and that sound is called as glottal, fricative, voiceless sound. So this chart is a summary for all the place of articulation, the manner of articulation of all consonants, and finally also the voicing. Whether this sound is voiceless, it has no vibration, or a voice sound which makes a vibration. Here we have some questions. We will work together to try to find out the solution for the following questions. Now, question number one, please pay attention. Which of the following words normally end with voiceless, the last part, the ending of the word, sounds, and which end with voiced sounds? If the sound is voiceless, we are going to use minus V, means no sound, no voice, voiceless. But if it is voiced, we will use plus V, positive V, which means that the sound is voiced. Now, we'll start with one by one. Now, the first one is A, bang. Bang. Now, before answering the question, I want you to practice pronouncing this letter, bang, g, g, and try to guess if the sound is voiceless or voiced. Now, can you answer it? Bang. Yes, is it voiceless or voice sound? Right? The answer is bang is voiced because we can feel the vibration. Bang, g. Next one, B, crash. Crash. I want you to try to practice this sound. Crash. Shh. Shh. Yes. Do you know that whether this sound is voiceless or voice sound? Is it a voiced or a voiceless sound? Crash. Shh. Yes. Can you answer? Yes, exactly. Crash, shh, is voiceless. It is a voiceless sound. It has no vibration. Now, let us see. Ding. Ding. Try to practice. Ding. Yes. Is it voiceless or voiced? Yes. The answer is, of course, it is a voiced sound. G. G. Next, fizz. Fizz. Yes. It's very easy. Absolutely right. It is a voiced sound. Z. You can feel the vibration. Next sound is rap. Rap. P. Rap. Yes. Is it a voiced sound or a voiceless sound? P. Rap. Rap. Yes. Absolutely right. It is a voiceless. It is a voiceless sound. P. Smack. Smack. K. K. Yes. K. Is it voiced or voiceless? Yes. Can you answer? If your answer is voiced, it's wrong. K is voiceless sound. K is voiceless sound. G. Splat. T. Yes. Is it a voiceless or voice sound? Yes, can you answer? Of course, it is a voiceless. It has no vibration. Thud. Yes. D. Is it voiceless or voiced? Of course, it is a voiced sound. Stop. It is one of the stops, plosives. D. Bilabial. It is bilabial. Stop. Voiced sound. D is a bilabial. It is one of the stops, and also it is a voiced sound. Wham. Wham. Yes. Definitely it is a voiced sound because it is one of the nasals. We have n, n, m, and ing. These three sounds are called as nasal sounds, and they are all voice sounds. Now, question number 2. Now here, try to pronounce the initial sounds of the following words, the first part of the following words, and identify the place of articulation of each one. What do you mean by the place of articulation? The location, yes, as in bilabial, alveolar, and so on. Yes. Now the first one is cough. We need the place of the sound k. Yes. I'll do the first one for you. As a sound, K is called as velar. K is called as velar. Okay, the second one, we have ch. We have ch as in chin. Yes. What is the place of articulation of the sound ch? Ch, ch, ch. Yes. It's palatal. It's palatal. Good. C is foot. Foot. Yes. We need the initial sound, the first sound, that is f. F. What is the place of articulation of f? Yes. Definitely, it is called as labiodental. Excellent. Now, letter D, groin. G. Groin. Yes. K. G. K. G. What is the place of articulation of this sound? G. Yes, the back of the tongue with the area which is called as velum. What is the name of this place of articulation? It is called as velar. It is called as velar. Next, hand. Yes, very simple. We have only one sound here. It is the only sound, one voiceless sound, glottal sound. Yes, it is, as I said, it is a glottal sound. Okay, next is knee. Knee. Yes. Right, it is a nasal sound, as in m, as in ing, as in n. Next is mouth. Yes, it is again a nasal sound. Pelvis. P, p. It is one of the stops, plosives. But where is the place of articulation? Excellent. It is bilabial. It is a bilabial sound. Bilabial, stop, voiceless p sound. Next is shoulder. Shoulder. Yes, it is a palatal sound. Stomach. S. Yes, try to remember. S. It is alveolar. And thigh, we have th. Yes, th. It is a, yes, who can? Of course, it is a dental sound. And finally, toe is a t. It is alveolar. The place is alveolar, alveolar. T, th, and so on. Try to remember the following sounds, and you can do more practice by pronouncing the sounds. Now, again here we have one more question, but here we need to identify the manner of articulation. The manner of articulation. Now, identify the manner of articulation of the initial sounds of the following words. Means stop, fricative, affricates, and so on. Now, the first one, chi. Yes. Cheery. Yes. Who can do it? The first one, it's a, yes, it's affricate. Ch, voiceless. Affricate. Ch, voiceless affricate sound. Next is crazy. The first initial sound is as a sound. K. Yes. K. It's a stop sound. It is a voiceless stop. K. K. Next is dizzy. D. Again, it is one of the stops, one of the plosives. D. Funny. F. Funny. F. Yes. It's a fricative. It's a fricative sound. Jolly. Next. Yes, this sound, jolly, is called as affricate. It is an affricate sound. Next is loony. Loony. L. We have two sounds here. We have L and r. These sounds, or l, is called as liquid sounds. As I said, we have two sounds here, l and r. Now, Mary, n, n. It is a n, nasal sound. And next is s, silly. Think, it is a fricative sound. And the last one we have wimpy, is a, yes, is a glide. We have only w and yeah, yes, w and yeah. Now, these are some questions about this chapter. I hope that they are very useful for you. Before I move to the vowels, here, this website is an excellent website, and it will help you practically to understand and to identify, to know what exactly happened in the mouth when pronouncing some sounds. Now, as you see, now if you just write the sounds of American English in Google or in Yahoo, you will have this website. You can just enter the site, and immediately this page will appear. Now, once you get this page, as you see, we have consonants, we have manner, we have place. This is the voice, whether it is a voiced or voiceless sound. Here the place, we have the place of the sound. Of course, some names are totally different than what you had taken, but they are similar. And here in the manner. Now, in the manner, we have stop, fricative, affricate, nasal, liquid, and glide. This is the manner. If you select anyone by mouse, just click on stop. Now, once you click on stop, you have the set, the first set of the sounds. Here, we have voiceless and we have voiced. We have p, t, k as voiceless sounds. And at the same time, you have b, d, and g as voice sound. If you again click on the sound, you will have this image. Now, it is a video, by the way. If you just click here, see, of course, there is no sound here, but at least see the motion when you say p. P. Now, these two lips are responsible to produce p. See again, again, and again. What exactly happened? The velium goes up, blocking the nasal cavity. The air stream goes out of the oral cavity, and then the two lips are responsible in producing p, p. Step-by-step description. Now see, this is the first step. What exactly happened here? If I click here, sorry, here, again, and again. See what exactly happened. This is the first step. They are apart. Now, first step, second step, this is up, third step, and fourth, it is blocked here, and finally, the lips are apart, and then there is a release of the air pressure. There is a release of the air pressure. Now, let us take one more example. Click on T. Now, play here the sound T. 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 What exactly happens here? The tongue touches, see, the alveolar ridge, and here the velium, see, closes the nasal cavity. Let us take one more example, as in K. Here, you will find the back part of the tongue with the velium. See, again, again. This is K. And if we also try G, it is the same sound, and same place, same location, see. Again, again. This video shows what exactly happened in the lips from the front view, see. G. G. Back to this image. See, this is G. D. Again, see. Tongue touches the alveolar ridge, and the result is D. D. One more example for the bilabial. B. Yes, see, bilabial. Again, P and B, both are the same. See, B, B, B. Now, go to fricative. Again, we have a list of sounds. If you just click on this one, see, th, th. The tip of the tongue touches the front upper teeth. See, again, not the alveolar ridge. It's the upper, see, the upper front teeth. Again, as in the, see, the. See, again, the. If you select anyone, of course, ha. For example, we said that this is the only sound, glottal sound. See, nothing exactly happened except the velium raised up, closes the nasal cavity, and the airstream goes out to the mouth. Let us take this one, sh. Yes, see. Again. Again. And f. See. There is no blockage here. Sh, f, v. There is no blockage. But what exactly happened is the airstream goes out. See. And there is a narrow passage. A narrow, you can feel the friction. You can feel the wrapping. As in v, v. And as in f, f. Let us take one more example, as in z. See? See? See the vibration here? This is called as, who can remember this one? The name of this? Something chord, yes? Here is the name. If you go back, glottal chords. Do you remember? This one? Vocal chords. You can feel the vibration here. See? Z, z, z. See this one? V also. V, v. You can feel the vibration in these sounds as also in the. If you change the manner into affricate, again we have ch and j. Ch, for example, see, ch, again, ch, again, ch. The tongue raises till it reaches the alveolar ridge. See again, see, see. See what exactly happened? You can see the tongue touches the alveolar ridge, and here the velium raised up to close the nasal cavity. In the case of j, the same process exactly happens in the mouth. Now again, go to nasal. Select, for example, n. See, n, n. Once it is closed, see the vocal cord here. See the vibration. The air goes out of the nose because there is a complete closure, complete blockage of the two lips. So the air goes out of the nose. If you see here, you can see also the sound n, n. Again, n. There is a complete closure between the tongue and the alveolar ridge. There is a complete contact here, and the air goes out of the vocal cord, out of the nose. The last nasal sound is ing. See, ing. The back of the tongue is with contact with the velium. It is lowered down here, and you can see also here larynx. There is a vibration here, and it shows that the air goes out of the nose. That's why these sounds are called as nasal. Next we have liquid. We have two sounds here, as I said. We have l, l, and here see l. There's a complete closure, and of course the air stream goes out of the two sides of the tongue, out of the oral cavity, not the nasal cavity, because there is a complete closure. The nasal cavity is closed, so the air passes between the two sides of the tongue. And the second one is r, r. There is a curve of the mouth up, there is a complete closure, and air goes out of the oral cavity. And the last is, we have two sounds, glide. We have w and y. W, for example, bilabial. See what exactly happened? W, w. And the last one is, come on, yes, this is y. This is y sound. This is, or this website is really very interesting. You can just try it. You'll find it very useful. And here, the place, again here, if you just click and select any sound, let us say, for example, bilabial, n sound. This is m sound, the same. So names are a little bit different, but the place and the manner of articulation are the same. They do not change. Whether in bilabial we have two lips which are responsible to produce the sound, and for example the manner of articulation is stop, means the way or how the air stream goes out of the mouth. Now let us now go back to the lesson. Here we have completed the place of articulation and the manner of articulation. Let me just start with a little bit complicated topic. Vowels. Now, vowel sounds are produced with a relatively free flow of the air. And when we say vowels, it means that there are no articulators responsible. There is no place of our articulation. Now, vowel sounds are produced with a relatively free flow of air. They also typically voiced. All vowels are voice sounds. To describe vowel sounds, we consider the way in which the tongue influences the shape through which the air must pass. To talk about a place of articulation, we think of the space inside the mouth as having a front versus a back, front part, and also a back part, and a high with the low area. So we have two positions. We have a front and back. We have high and low areas. Thus, in the pronunciation of, for example, this word heat, heat, and hit. See, heat, hit, heat, hit. We talk about high front. What does it mean, high front? The place of articulation and the manner of articulation here is not described by each one of these. They are not described as articulators. They are described as position and shape. So the position is front and the shape is high. So that's why when I say heat or hit, it means that the tongue is high and front. Now, because the sound is made with the front part of the mouth in a raised position, we will come to more details. Now, in contrast, the vowel sound, as in, for example, hat, a. Here we have e, e. Here we have at, hat, is produced with the tongue in a lower position and the sound in the lower position. It is again front but lower. And the sound in o, hot, can be also described as low back. So, at, oh sorry, hot, oh. This is a low back vowel, not as in heat and hit. Your mouth will stay fairly closed. If you say heat, you can feel that the mouth is fairly closed. Hit, because the tongue goes up high. But when you say hat or hot, you feel that sound, hat and hot sounds, these two sounds, that means that your tongue will move lower and cause your mouth to open wider. See the difference here? When I say hit, hit, and hot, hat, heat, hat, hit, hot. So when you pronounce hit and heat, you can feel that the mouth is closed. But when you say hat and hot, you can feel that your tongue or your mouth is open wider. Now, these are the let me say essential sounds of vowels. Vowel sounds are produced with a relatively free flow of air they're having, and so on. We said that this is the shape of the mouth. Now, as you see, the mouth is divided into 4 parts, 4 locations. We have front and back. Imagine that this is the front part of the mouth and this is the back part of the mouth. And at the same time, the level of the tongue is high and low. For example, if you say heat, you can feel that your mouth is closed. When you see the sound, you can feel that your mouth open wider. So we have front, back, high, and low. Now let us start by pronouncing the following vowels. We have as in key, me, beef, heat. We have E. This sound is or can be described or represented by this sound, E, as in key, me, beef, and heat. Of course, when you speak English, in spoken English, we never say that, for example, I have a key. We never say like this. But the sound is, we say, a long vowel, E. So it is, I have a key. But we never say key to show that this is a long vowel. No, you speak normally. The second one is I. We have E and I, as in bed, as in myth. This sound. This is, the E is more higher than I. But both are in the same position, they are front. Second is I, as in bed, dead, or said, and can be represented by this symbol. Now, if you open more wider, you'll be having a, as in hat, bad, laugh, rap, and the symbol here is this one, a. Now, the following sounds, the following vowels are called as front vowels because they are in the front portion of your mouth. The second group is called as central. We have as in a, above, oven, and a in support, as in a. But the second one is this one. It's supposed to be this way. Yes. Now this sound is as in blood, or tough, rough, blood. And these two vowels are called as central. The third group here, we have the back vowels. We have 4 vowels here, as in oo, boo, or move, or to, or you. Oo, long vowel oo, which can be represented by this sound. The second is short vowel, and instead of saying oo, it's oo, as in book, could, put, oo. It's a short vowel oo. The third one, as in born, coat, and fall. And the last one is as in, for example, here we have some names like, for example, as in, for example, Bob or Swan. So these are the sounds, and you need to practice them well. And of course, any website, if you just use the Google or Yahoo by typing vowels, English vowels, you'll be having all the vowels. You can practice them. Next is, in vowels also we have something called as diphthongs. Now diphthongs is a combination of 2 sounds. For example, if I just use 2 vowels like a and e, like for example, I, e, buy, or I, pie, sigh. Now here, it's not only one sound, it's 2 sounds, a combination of 2 sounds, which is called as diphthongs. One more example, as ow, ow, as in cow, as in doubt. One more example, as in a, as in bait, ate, great, late, say. And next we have as in o, as in boat, home, through, or toe. And finally, as in oi, with I, oi, as in noise and boy. For more practice, I prepared your homework. Now here, using simples introduced in this chapter, write a basic phonetic description of the most common pronunciation of the following words. What you need is to try to write the phonetic description. Like, for example, I'll do this one for you. Now, catch. The sound is ka, ka. And we have a, and the last sound is catch, catch, ch, and the sound is catch. This is the basic phonetic description of the word catch. So please, at home, try to do this homework alone, and either next lecture or by using the forum e-learning and distance education forum, I'll give you more assignments, more homework to be done at home, and I will also use this one in the coming lecture. This is the end of today's lecture. Please, just to remind you that revise all sounds, consonants, and vowels. They need more practice. What you need is to try to pronounce the sounds again and again. And if you face some difficulties, you can contact me. In the coming lecture, I will give you my contact number, my email, and I will be also a visitor of the e-learning and distance education website. Hope to see you again in the coming lecture. See you next time. Bye. خلص وقفت 10 ثواني طبعا بعد ما شوف ها